So yeah. um 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 in um um uh, uh baby. Times, but well, hello and welcome to Little State Big Voices with myself, Shahida, and my fabulous co-host Tracy.
Hey y'all, I like the little clap at the beginning.
This is the end of the year and the end of my work
Yes.
week. No, not quite, but close.
You're starting to gradually just like taper down to, the festivities. I like it.
Do you have anything planned for Christmas?
It's just gonna be us. We do our annual traditional brunch. That's what I do on Christmas. I don't cook a big meal and in the
Hmm.
evening. We just do a spread like
Hmm.
mid-morning because the kids are not little anymore, so we don't wake up at the crack of dawn. We're like rolling out the bed around 10ish, 11,
Hmm.
we do the big breakfast brunch spread, and then it's usually like Chinese food or pizza at night. How about you?
Okay.
I know you don't traditionally observe, but what are your plans on Thursday, I should say?
Well, Thursday morning, afternoon, nothing. I usually will go before my aunt passed away, we would all go have lunch there. And now we go to my cousin Tiana's, and I haven't been in a while, but this year I'm going. She doesn't start till 6 p.m. That's part of the reason why I don't be going because I'd be like, oh, at 6 o'clock, I gotta get up and drive all the way to Boston. But I'm gonna do it this year. I'm gonna do
It's
it this
pitch black at 6 o'clock, sis. That's the dead of night in the
year.
winter time. And
Exactly. Until you get where you're going. That's the thing. Until you get where you're going, it always just feels like this is just too much. But then you go and you have a great time.
it sounds like you just need a chauffeur.
I do have a chauffeur this time.
And there you go, girl. Just sit back and
Because
enjoy
that's,
the ride.
I wish I could take a little nap, on my way in, but we'll see. I get a little nervous.
Girl,
You
just
the chauffeur.
take a little edible courage and then just relax.
I have not had an edible in a year.
You haven't mentioned it lately.
I keep saying, I want one. But I haven't had one. They're just sitting there,
Okay.
sitting there getting old.
You might need it for
And
the
I have to,
holidays.
I tried the rest of the eggnog that I made. So I had some last
Mm.
night before I went to bed. And I was like, you know what? I can taste the alcohol in this. I think I'm just gonna this is the end of the book club eggnog. It has to go.
Okay. So you
Throw it
just,
out.
took one for the team and you decided to finish it. I was like, that was
No, I
real
didn't finish
eggnog.
it. I threw it out. I'm
Oh,
throwing
you
it out.
threw it away. Okay,
Throwing it
okay.
out. Yeah.
Got it, got it.
Yeah. I can't drink that. I can't drink that. I'll get a headache. I felt it coming.
I
But
definitely
anyway,
felt
this
it
is what our
in
second
you.
to last show for the year. We
Mm-hmm.
have one more after this, and then we'll be back. We'll talk about when we're actually coming back because I'm gonna take a little break. Just a little break. Maybe a
I
week and a
just
half.
a little downtime. Y'all need it too. That's a
Mhm.
chance to listen to old episodes.
It
That was
is. It
something that
is.
I started doing, listening back to some of our old episodes. And honestly, I was like, okay, it was giving me life. I like it. So I encourage others to do that if they're missing us on Mondays,
Hmm.
when we
Hmm.
take our hiatus.
Pick a favorite and then let us know next year what last year's favorite was,
Yeah, we'd like to hear
you
that.
know? So we're actually going to kind of like recap some of the things that we liked this year, like as far as
Hmm.
like movies and series and music. It's hard thinking about because you have to go all the way back to the first. And if you don't write things down, which there are some categories I didn't write things down, so I'm like hard pressed to figure out what it was that I liked about a certain thing.
So for me, it usually this is easy for me. This year
Mm-hmm.
it was hard because this has been the year of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, good, bad, ugly. And normally I could just come up with these things, off the top of my head, but it took me a minute to actually come up with this list. It was a little bit harder than I
Mm-hmm.
expected it to be, but I powered through and I did go back and I combed through, did my research in my browser history, in my saved like my stuff in my Hulu and my HBO accounts, and I came up with the good list.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I did go back, but yeah, I think I got a good list, but it was hard. It was hard coming up that. So let's start off with series because that's been big since COVID because we all collectively like just get hyped about a series that comes out. So what are your top three series?
So top three was hard for me because I watch a lot of television.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to nail down the top three, I kind of had a little cheat code because I'm gonna go from three to one on this list. So
Okay.
third would be The Girlfriend. That was a series that had Robin Wright, the American actress Robin Wright, but it was
Mm-hmm.
set in the UK
Mm-hmm.
and it was about the mom's relationship or interactions with her son's new girlfriend. It
Mm-hmm.
was great from a suspense perspective. It was also like a departure from the American TV series that I'm normally
Mm-hmm.
watching. They do things differently in the UK. Even from the casting of
Yeah.
the actors, you see different kinds of people, different kinds of script and dialogue. That to me was Chef's Kiss, how they
Mm-hmm.
wrote that series. I don't want to spoil it, so I won't say too much more. Number two for me was Miss Pat Settles It, which is a court show that's hosted by the comedian Miss Pat. And I miss having like fresh episodes of Judge Judy or Judge Joe Brown. I used to really enjoy like the comedy of those types of judge shows, even though supposedly they're real, cases or whatever. I just like the way that she engages with her jury because she actually has a jury of her peers,
Mm-hmm.
of the people's peers in the box, and it's entertaining, it's fun, it makes me
Mm-hmm.
laugh, and she's a fair judge, so I like that. But my number one series is the 90 Day franchise, all of it. Anything 90 Day Fiance,
Mm-hmm.
90 Day the Other Way, 90 Day Pillow Talks, 90
Mm-hmm.
I Love Island version, all of it. I love it. I can't get
Mm-hmm.
enough of it. Those are my choices.
I dip and dab into the 90-day, stratosphere. Not that much. To be honest, the only one I think I have been consistent with watching is Love is Blind on Netflix. I've watched
Okay.
every single country. The last country they did was Spain. Was it Spain? No, Italy.
Mm.
And they really aren't that good. These people are not in it to get married, and I don't know why I keep watching it. But my top three series were, and some of them were limited. The first one, I'm gonna go in order just like you, three to one. Adolescence. I think we were all in a
Mhm.
chokehold on that one, and I agree 100% what you say about a UK produced show. And I watch a lot of like UK mysteries, and you're gonna see somebody with cerebral palsy, you're going to see somebody with autism, you're going to see all kind of different ethnic groups, representing the UK, and they have the same type of problems that we have here in the United States as far as racism, but and I might be wrong from the limited UK shows that I see because I have BritBox, I have Acorn. What else do I have? I have a another one. I can't think of the name of it, but so I do watch a lot, and I have always been very impressed by that. But Adolescence was like, one of the top ones. It was just a very good, well told story. and from the father's point of view and the child's point of view, and really somebody doing something and not really having a good reason for it, because he really didn't. I mean, of course he was bullied a little, but if you haven't seen Adolescent, you have to check that out. The second one for me is another UK show, and it's called Mr. Loverman. And it's about this Antiguan man who is married, I think like almost 50 something years, but he's gay. And he's been carrying on a relationship with his best friend from Antigua. So they kind of started in Antigua and moved to the UK and continued their relationship. And they show his relationship with his wife and his kids. And his wife, she didn't know about this relationship, but her entire relationship with her husband, she's just trying to get him to notice and love her. And he's there, he's supporting the family, he's going to work, he's doing the things, but he's just not loving his wife. It was really good. So at 74 years old, they break up. She luckily goes back to Antigua, finds love for herself, but he ends up with his best friend. It was really good.
That sounds amazing.
It's on Amazon. You can catch it. It was really good. I was in a chokehold every week because it wasn't one that was just uploaded all at once. I had to wait every Thursday to catch it. I really loved it. It was one of my favorites. And my number one, which I am shocked, The Gilded Age. The
That was.
Gilded Age had me. And I
Mhm.
don't like period pieces, but it had me. After I finished The Gilded Age, I read two books. I went and got
I
two
remember
books.
you telling me, and it was
Yep,
about like the Gettys and like those families, those New
yep.
York
The
money
Gettys
families.
was one book, and then the Astors was another, and the rise and fall of them and how they lost their money, but just the chokehold that they had on the government, or just society in general. It was really good. But I love the Gilded Age. They had a strong African American presence that wasn't just, them at the coattails of white people. They were highly educated. They did Newport, they did the Martha's Vineyard, they vacation. It was really good. And I cannot wait for the second season. Cannot wait.
Yeah, like if I had more spots, I probably would have said like Gilded Age or, but I'm like, I had to pick three. I had to narrow it down to three, but I watched some good stuff this year.
You
I
don't
watched
have
some
any
good stuff.
like honorable mentions? Because I had a
Oh
couple.
yeah, I got mad honorable
Go
mentions
ahead, just
because
do an honorable mention for your series.
Taylor Sheridan, like he's out there. So he did Yellowstone, which was last year. That's like
Okay.
that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
that's gone. But Taylor Sheridan also does Landman and he does Mayor of
Mm-hmm.
Kingstown, which are fire. So anything he puts out, even though
Mm-hmm.
my core wants to resist it because even when I see the characters, I'm like, they don't look like me. I'm not from this world. He transports you into the world of these individuals and makes you care what's going on, even though
Mm-hmm.
they're completely polar opposites of anything that has to do with me. I don't intersect
Mm-hmm.
with very many of their dynamics, but somehow he reels me in, that Taylor Sheridan. So anything he puts out. And then Hunting Wives, that was another one that was like I really liked.
I just found that I had that book in my shelf, and I said, okay, let me go ahead and read it. I haven't seen the show, but I am going to
Oh.
go ahead and read it. So for me, my honorable mentions, I have quite a few, but I'm not going to, they are The Secret She Keeps, which is an Australian series, and it's about
Mm.
this woman who's an influencer, and her baby is kidnapped from the hospital. So
Wow.
it tells the story of her life, but also the woman who steals her baby. And it's just like a very crazy ending. There's a season two, and I didn't like where season two was going, the direction, but I am going to finish it. But season one to me was excellent.
Okay.
The other one is Cassandra, which is German, and that's on Netflix. And it was really good because it actually takes place in the 60s, but it's about this kind of like AI robotic cr- not creature, but robotic being that kind of holds his family hostage. And it was really good. It was really good. About
Mhm.
maybe 6, 7 episodes, and Doc on Fox. So that
Okay.
is about the woman. I know if everybody probably has seen it, but I really enjoyed the first season. I'm in the second season now, and it's about this doctor who loses her memory during a car accident. But she wasn't a very nice doctor before. But I got some debate on that. This woman lost her child, and she was just very to the book about everything. And I honestly think if she were a man, it wouldn't have been like, oh, she wasn't a very nice person. She was just, to the book. She's going to tell you how it is. She's not sugarcoating anything. She was just very direct. I may not have liked her, but I don't think that was a negative in her actual her demeanor, but it's a good show. So that was my honorable mentions. So what's next? Movies?
Yeah, we can do movies. Did I do movies? I
What
have
did you have
book.
next?
I have
'Cause
books next.
books, go ahead. Let's go books.
So books for me in order and from three to one. Number three was Truly by Lionel Richie. That was
Oh,
his memoir. I know you're not a big memoir fan. I listened to this on audio, and honestly, even though he was kind of acting like a dick in the book,
mm-hmm.
I enjoyed listening to him narrate his own book and tell his stories. He's
Yeah.
actually a pretty good storyteller.
Tyler. Okay.
Yeah, he spins things to the point where you're like, "Sir, you were misbehaving in this story," but I still like am excited to hear you talk about it. So, and he's a very accomplished musician, of course, award
Hmm.
winning. But when you think about someone like a Lionel Richie, you only think about the highs, right? Because you only
Hmm.
know him for the highs, and maybe that one time his wife beat him up. As far as the lows go. But of course, like everyone, we all have highs and lows, and he documents not just his highs, but his lows, how he was painfully shy when he was a teenager and thin and just gangly, and he wasn't like this ladies' man in Casanova that he became in the 70s when he, became a singer. My mom that was her man. She loved Lionel Richie, thought he was like God's gift. And when you read about how he saw himself as a young man, it completely is polar opposite of what you think of as this ladies' man. So, very good book. And he's still around, he's still alive and kicking. And he talks about, his romances, all that good stuff. Number two, Lion Women of Tehran by Marjan Kamali, which was an amazing book that you chose for book club. I actually would not have probably chosen to read that book if you hadn't assigned it. I wouldn't have come across it any other way. So that got me out of my comfort zone of books that I read. And it was a really great story about the rise and fall of Iranian democracy. So set in the 50s through the 80s, and that was a really great book. And it actually went forward into modern
It
times too.
did,
So
yeah.
that
Hmm.
was really good. In the generational experiences of these Iranian women. So that was really beautiful. And the undercurrent theme of friendship and loyalty, big
Hmm.
time. Again,
Hmm.
not to ruin anything, I'll let y'all listen to it or read it on your own. And number one for me, probably not a shock to you, is Firstborn Girls by Bernice McFadden.
I wrestled with that one. I wrestled with that one in my top three, but I did not pick it. But I agree that was like an excellent book.
Another memoir. I like to
Hmm.
hear people tell their stories, and oftentimes I think they're embellishing a little bit because there's some things you just can't possibly know. I don't care how many interviews you do with
Hmm.
your family, but she makes you feel like you were there in moments that happened even before she was born or when she was an infant. And it's just tough for me to be like, how do you know, how did you write this so well when you were
Hmm.
just a baby? But I think creative license is often taken with memoirs, but the stuff that she did live through, she also told very well. So That's my top three for books.
I feel like I didn't get embellishment from her. I thought she was pretty raw and candid, but I get what you're saying about certain books feeling that way, and like you, I didn't feel that way with hers. But because everything was a learning curve, and she showed you the lesson, well, she kind of like told you the lesson afterwards, what she learned, but going through it, a totally different thing. I enjoyed that one as well. So my books from three to one, the very first one was Yinka, Where is Your Husband? I got it was funny.
What
It
is
was like
that?
it, I know. Yinka, where is your husband? It's this African Nigerian woman that lives in the UK. And she's not married, and her aunties and her mother and them, they're all just like on her about her getting married. And when her younger cousin and her sister are get engaged, she's just like, I really got to get on the ball. It was funny,
Mhm.
it was lighthearted. I read it and then I listened to it, and a lot of times I try to read it, and then if they are an author from another country, I want to hear it. I want to hear how they pronounce the names, and there's certain dialect that you'll pick up by listening to it. So I read it and I thought it was hilarious, and I listened and it was funnier, very funny. I love the book. Number
And I can hear
two.
you putting a little accent on Inca's name there. So I'm like, yeah, you really got
Yeah,
into that
it was
one.
good. It was good. What was the author? The author's name is Lizzie Dimilolo.
Okay.
Demilola. I'm
Mm-hmm.
butchering it. I should have listened, but it was really good. And I don't know. It was someone in the book club. We did another book. We did a couple of African authors, and that is had what has gotten me into trying international authors, especially
Mm.
African women, because they do. They're really funny. Um, Unlike the TV shows, which I can take or leave, but these are really good. The second book I read that I loved was Queen of Sugar Hill, Hattie McDaniel story, and it's
Oh,
fiction. And that is, I mean, take it in, Tracy, because you will be reading that because that is my book for book
okay.
club.
Okay. Thank
Rashonda Tate. She did a it was really good. It made me she made some it's fiction. So I had to keep reminding myself because the way she talks about the friendship of her and Hattie McDaniel and Clark Gable after they did Gone with the Wind. I don't know how much of that is true, but it made me love Clark Gable even more. It was
okay.
really good. It was really good. I loved it. But my number one book that I absolutely, and I went through and I kept a log of every book I read this year from January from each month. But the last book I read was The Reformatory, and that was last month, and I freaking love that. A book is good when you finish it and you're sad because
You
you
want
just want those
more.
characters more. You want more story. And even though it ended, well, I would have picked that for book club, but it's lengthy, and it doesn't take a lot to get into it. But I mean, listening to it might be a different story. I just feel like the Queen of Sugar Hill was just more like a book club selection. But the Reformatory,
Okay.
it takes place in Jim Crow, Florida. This little boy, Robert Stevens, he's like 9 years old, gets thrown into a reform school, which is based on a true story. But he can see haints, which are spirits. I got haints from watching Sinners. I had never heard that term used before. And his sister is on the outside doing all that she can to get him free because he kicked this white boy on for harassing his sister. Just kicked him in the shin, and his father seen him, and of course it's Jim Crow, Florida. And I didn't think
Yeah.
I would like it, that there would be too much of that, but it isn't. It was. it was just such an excellent, but it was so there was so much in it. It was a lot of emotion because it was you're angry about the Jim Crow part, you're sad about this little boy being there. Then there's this mystery of like, these spirits that are haunting the school and how he's so connected to them and why. It was really good. I loved it.
Mhm. That was really good,
It was
actually.
really good.
I was talking I know we're doing our list, but I was talking to a coworker, and she said she read over 100 books this year. I was like, girl, how?
Did she read it or she listened?
I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna like take her shine from her while she's talking
Hmm.
about she, did these 100 books this year. I I don't know. I would like to know, but I was like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer in the meeting that we were having because she
Oh
was
yeah,
so proud
no,
of it.
no, I was
But yeah,
definitely.
I low key was wondering myself, like, did you even listening to 100 books is a lot for
Hmm.
1 year. That's a lot for 1 year, but she
Because I
did it.
remember President Obama said that he read 100 books a year at one point, and I'm like, no, you didn't, because you are the goddamn president. How? How did you? How did you when you were the president?
Was somebody reading the books to him?
You were the president. I don't think you read 100, but
He was a
some
lawyer,
some
so
people know how to utilize their downtime.
maybe he's a good skimmer. I don't know.
I, you know what? I just finished another book and it was I can't think of the writer, but the book was almost 600 pages. And
Mm,
honestly, that book could have been finished in maybe 300 to 400 pages because there was a lot of description that I felt like was just unnecessary.
yeah.
And although I like the author and I think he did a fabulous job telling this, nah, I'm gonna say he did a great job. I'm not saying fabulous. He did a great job telling the story. It was just too many words for the story. Too many words.
But
So
I'm like,
sometimes
that's
you just go.
2 books a week. That's like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I love to read and I do love books, but even for me, that's a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
That's a
That's a
lot.
lot.
That's a lot. I mean, just finished. I had taken Saturday. I took the day because I was just like, I am finishing this book. I was like 300 pages in, and I'm like, I am not going. I did end up going out, but begrudgingly because I wanted to finish this damn book, and I finished it like early Sunday morning, like around 1 a.m. Over, yeah, 600 pages. That was a lot, but it was good. It was decent. So what's
So
what's next?
we should probably dive into movies because you started to go there with the movies. So in my order, Sinners was this year, right? Because I have Sinners
Yeah.
down and I feel like it was
Hmm.
this year. Okay.
It was.
So I'm going out of order now because Sinners was definitely my number one movie of the year. But I
Hmm.
just wanted to cross check that with you. But literally, I have been immersed in these South African films.
Hmm.
So if I was to go 3 to 1, it would be the Umjolo series, which
Hmm.
is it almost is like these romance stories that come off the pages of a book, and I have to research and find out if they come from books, but there's one that was called The Gone Girl, one that was called The Cure, so there's multiple ones. And then there
Hmm.
was another one that I really liked, so my number 2. So number 3 is all the Umjolo series, again, South African, about these romances. And then number 2 was Disaster Holiday, also on
Hmm.
South African Netflix. And that to me was the comedy that was almost like Johnson Family Reunion, but South African version.
Okay.
I love a comedy. So if I can find,
Hmm.
something that's refreshing, something that's different, because sometimes you feel like you watched Netflix till the end and there's nothing left. You got to
Hmm.
go into these internationals. So with the second one that I was talking about there, that Johnson family reunion type vibe, it's a blended family, and the
Hmm.
father, he's having a hard time co-parenting with his ex. He's married a new woman, and he goes on this holiday with his children, but really he's also hiding the fact that he has a presentation for work that's at the resort. And
Hmm.
so, all these mishaps happen as they're on their way to the resort. Things happen with the vehicle, things happen with, you know, getting their the kids to have a good relationship with their new stepmom. they're even resistant to the relationship with the father because he's kind of like disappointed them and their three children. So of course the baby's always going to love daddy, but
Hmm.
you have the middle child and then you have the older child who have seen things and experienced things and their perspective is different, but it was really good and funny. But Sinners was my number one. That movie, the music, the visuals, the wardrobe, the dialogue, just Ryan Coogler being a beast,
Hmm.
number one.
So you know what? I might as well say Sinners was my number one as well. We know
I couldn't even hold it back. That's so
I
sad.
it was my number one. But my second and my third, my second was Opus, and that was like a thriller as well. And if I could pick every movie that I seen this young woman in, what is her name? She's from Dorchester. Ayo
Oh,
Edebiri,
I know
her.
Idoji. Yeah.
No,
Something
it's
like that.
Edebiri. Edebiri. I don't know how you pronounce her last name,
I'm
but she
messing it
was
up, but
in
I know who you mean. She's in The Bear, which is a
she's in
great
The
show.
Bear.
Yeah.
I've watched like several things of her this year. She was in the Opus, and I've loved every single one. I have on queue right now, the one with her and Julia Roberts, and that's playing on Netflix.
Mm.
I cannot think of the name of it, and it looks hella good.
Yeah.
She and what's his name? I can't think of his name. Not he's an actor. He was Captain America. Um
The black actor or the white actor? Because it's
The
Chris
black one, not
Evans.
the
Oh,
new
you're
one. He was
Anthony Mackie?
no, not the new one. I can't think of it, but they're doing a play in
Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle. That's what I was
Okay.
thinking.
I'm like, we're gonna get this girl
Yeah,
because my
she's doing
son,
a play with him starting. It's on Broadway in March.
we might have to pull up.
Gonna go. Yeah, I love her, and she was very good in Opus, and it was a thriller, and kind of it was just wild and out there, but it was really good. I liked it. And then my third was, and I didn't watch a whole lot of movies. I watched more series than I did. I really did like the Fantastic Four. I thought that was really good, really well done, but it's not my third. My third is Olivia Colman and in The Roses.
Mm.
Hilarious. I love that. And I love her in just about anything anyway. She's probably like my top favorite UK actress. I loved it. So those are my three. So Sinners, Opus, and The Roses.
Interesting. Um, Podcasts? Should we move on to podcasts?
I don't even know if I did not do favorite podcast, but I can do it off the rip. Go ahead, you go for
I know you can do it because every time I get in your vehicle, there's a podcast on. That's literally what you listen to on a regular basis.
look
So
it
I
up. I
know.
know. It's true.
So for me, my list doesn't really waver from year to year,
Hmm.
but for me, I'll hold myself and not give away my number one, and this is the podcast not including ours, so we're
Hmm.
taking ourselves out of the equation.
Right.
Number three for me is Family Secrets by Danny Shapiro. That podcast is based on Danny's experience finding out that her biological father is not indeed her father, but that she was the child of artificial insemination because her father was unable to father a child. And she's in her 60s maybe. She's from the era when that was not something that was commonplace. In vitro fertilization and things like that was not commonplace. So based on her experience and finding out that her father is not her father, she started this podcast called Family Secrets, where people come on and they talk about the secrets that their family keeps from them and even the secrets you keep from yourself. So very
Hmm.
deep, and I love that series, that podcast. And then my second one, Scam Goddess, like hands down. I talk about this podcast all the time. When I started to get involved with you in podcasting, this was kind of my North Star of what I aspire to be. I want to be like Lacey Mosley because she's high energy. She does these amazing introductions, which is where I try to, put myself when I'm introducing people. And she's just funny and she's smart and she's this amazing Black woman. So love Lacey Mosley, the Scam Goddess. And the number one is the Moth podcast, storytelling podcast.
Mhm.
I've been listening since the pandemic, so before that, since 2019, and I'm an avid listener, and I'm also a member, and I like contribute to their fundraiser to keep it going because it's hard to keep these things on the air when you're a nonprofit and you're
Mhm.
trying to do things and do these performances, but they have a lot of them that are based out of the Wilbur Theater right here in Massachusetts. So I like the Moth podcast a lot. That's my number one.
Whew, that's a hard one off the. I would say, okay, I'll go backwards, 3-1. One that I definitely listened to this year that I really liked was Dead Certain, and it was the Martha Moxley story.
Um,
If you're from Massachusetts, you know that was a big story, and supposedly her murderer was one of the Kennedy cousins. And so this kind of sheds light on, like, really how this person probably was shafted a lot. He's out of jail now, on a lot of things that were discovered, but it was really detailed. I can't remember who the guy was, so I would that actually did the actual journalism work behind it. But that would be number three. Um, I would say IMO was my top two this year because it's Michelle Obama and her brother Craig, and it was really good. They had some really good guests. It was fun. It was really good to see Michelle kind of more. I mean, she's always been kind of like, approachable and but in that space of interviewing somebody, you saw more of her personality,
mhm.
and the more I liked it. I really liked it. And she did a episode with Cat Williams.
Oh, that must have been fun. I gotta
It
listen to
was
that
not.
one.
It was not.
Why?
I it was, you know why? Because Cat Williams, God bless him, he went in there with the utmost respect
Mhm.
for our forever first lady, and I
Yeah.
can I can respect that for him, for us,
Mhm.
because he didn't curse, he wasn't funny. He tried. I mean, you could tell that he was holding himself back a lot, and I suspect that even Michelle and Craig were like, "Come on, you got to loosen up, sir. You got to be Cat Williams, a
Oh
little bit of Cat
man,
Williams."
that was a
But
missed
Jennifer Lewis,
opportunity.
but Jennifer Lewis was herself,
Wow.
and I love her for her being her because I don't even think I heard Michelle.
Well, sis is very upfront about her own mental illness. Jennifer Lewis, she's very upfront in
But this is not mental illness. This is just her being fun and talking
yeah.
her shit and hyping herself up. I know that she's like bipolar, and you're lucky you get that other side that's like intense, but she was fun. I loved it. And so my number one would have to be, because it's very consistent, I listen to them all the time, is Your Aunties Could Never. That's my UK crew.
Yeah.
I listen to them like every week, and I would say my honorable mention would definitely have to be Crime Junkies, because I listen to her, to Ashley Flowers too. And the thing I love about Your Aunties Could Never is you're getting a perspective of America from other people across the pond, and they looking at us like, God damn,
Yeah. I say
God,
that all the time. I'm like, I travel and the first thing people will be like, so
God
what's
damn.
up with
Mm-hmm.
what are y'all doing? What's
What are
what's up
y'all
with that?
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um
that
I'm
that would be my top three.
I'm thinking honorable mention podcast for me is probably going to be, and I haven't heard any new episodes, is Carefully Reckless with Jess Hilarious. Oh, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely Miss Pat's podcast, The Pat Town.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you will literally choke on your food listening to the
Mm-hmm.
Miss Pat Down
Mm-hmm.
because she just says the most outlandish things and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am, like she just says the most insane and funny things. And I just love Miss Pat. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, and who's next? What's next?
Do you have any funniest crimes? I know you were like not sure about that.
Funniest crimes. I do
Funniest
not
or craziest?
phrase. I go ahead. You go with yours. I really. I didn't. I must have missed that on the list, but no, I didn't have it
Okay, well, I will give the people some good stuff
because
to
I probably
Google.
would agree with you.
I think you're going to agree with at least one of them, and you can tell me if you know which one it is. So number three for me was the mother and son jumped by the mob of Chicago school children. Like crazy
Yeah,
crime,
yeah.
not funny, but
Yeah,
crazy.
because I thought, okay, yeah, that was horrific.
And then
Mm-hmm.
not only did it happen, but we had the footage. We saw it.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that was crazy that these kids had no
The
behavior.
audacity.
And they whooped a grown woman's tail. Like that's crazy to me. But I did, in my research of looking up this article again, I saw that the son was honored with the Hero Award for protecting his mother, and of course the outpouring of support. So I am grateful that that happened as a result. Number two, mortuary assistant castrates sex offender's body. Crazy. So this
Don't know
man
that one.
this man who was convicted of sex offenses, he died in prison and he had to go to, his body had to be interned. So when the mortuary, folks found out that he was a sex offender, one of the assistants, she mutilated his genitals and
Ooh.
she actually got in trouble for it. So somehow it got exposed that she did that. I think that they had some kind of I don't know if they sent his body back for like an autopsy or what happened. Somehow she got to him and then somebody else saw what she had done and she
Mhm.
actually was facing charges for it. And she was a
Mm,
woman of color too.
no, I didn't. I missed that one. What state? Do you know?
I'd have to look. Oh, Texas. It was Texas
Texas.
where many crazy things
Texas or
happened.
Florida? Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
Texas. So, yeah, she did that. I'm like, girl, you should have got to him before he died. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and number one craziest crime for me for 2025, at least the trial happened. Karen Reed. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Bonkers.
That would, I would, I don't have a list, but I will say the craziest crime because we saw it happen was that Charlie Kirk assassination. I've never, I for hours on end, I was just like, this is AI. That's not real. I did not
Yeah.
believe it. To see that happen, that was wild to me. So that was it was crazy, but it just shows how crazy we are. And I would have to throw in the Karen Reed trial and also this Bill Walsh trial that just ended in Boston was wild too because this man said that he didn't kill his wife, but he may have dismembered her. He dismembered her body, but he didn't kill her.
Yeah.
So I find like if I walk into a room and somebody's dead, I think to call the cops. I don't think to dismember their body.
But you remember that happened in Quincy like over a decade ago. Do you remember that? The dominatrix? The guy died while he was with the dominatrix and she dismembered his body.
Mm-mm.
That happened in Quincy years ago. I'm gonna have to find the article and post it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing with the Lacey Peterson thing. Supposedly she didn't kill her daughter, but she disposed of the body. I'm like, why aren't you just calling the
Doesn't make
cops?
sense. That doesn't make sense. So a new trial is about to start, and it's with the Stoughton Police Department because a Stoughton police officer killed this 19-year-old woman that he had been having a relationship with for the like last 3 or 4 years. She was, barely over age. She was pregnant with his child, but she was in a what they call it, like a student police officer group that they had to show high schoolers what it was like if they wanted to go into policing, and these men were having relationships with these girls. This is between Stoughton and Canton. So
So
that trial is
disgusting.
about, so that was a wild story. So he ended up killing her. And, that trial is about to come up. So what I would call crazy. So those are my three.
Yeah, there were so
Off
many
the
more.
cuff.
Unfortunately,
Off
there
the
were so
cuff.
many more, but those were
Yeah.
like the top ones that blew my mind this year. Um, what about do you want to do the list of people that we can just disappear forever and we'd be okay with it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got some.
I'll kick it off. So number
Okay.
3 for me is all ICE agents. Y'all can fucking Thanos
Mm-hmm.
can snap his finger and y'all can get the fuck out of here, as far as I'm
Mm-hmm.
concerned. Um, Tired of y'all. You're not doing the Lord's work. You're definitely not doing the work of the American people. You are doing the work
Mm-hmm.
of little dick motherfuckers. So y'all can
Mm-hmm.
disappear forever. Number 2, Brian McKnight.
Oh.
I'm good. I'm good on you, sir. If I never
Mm-hmm.
see or hear from you again, I'm
This is.
straight.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of your strained relationship with your children, when your child is literally on their deathbed and you can't find it in your heart to feel anything, to apologize for any wrongs you may have done or try to repair a relationship, and not only that, you've basically revoked the name. You had a junior. You had a Brian McKnight Jr. and you decided that you were going to take that name back and give it to your new family, your baby from your new family. I can't imagine one thing he could say to me that could justify any of this. And I haven't seen yet anything that justifies this man's behavior. And it's got to be really terrible for you to call your children the devil's spawn or they're born out of sin or whatever the
Doesn't
stuff you
even
were.
like the wife anymore.
What does that have to do with your kids? Like, that's so
Mm-mm.
crazy to me. I just can't imagine it. I don't know what that's like. Goodbye. Number 1 would be 47 and all the racist co-conspirators that continue to keep him above water. Y'all can all get the fuck out.
Yep.
And you know why.
Yep. Yep. So my list, and I was right there with you with Ice. I put them at number three for all the reasons. Two, Nicki Minaj.
Oh my
Haven't
God.
liked her for a very long time, but she
Mhm.
has gone full Magna, and she had the audacity to go and on Turning Point USA with that other grifter, Erica, what's her name? Kirk, Erica Kirk, and say that black women should not be so mean and nasty to white women to talk about their looks because we were talking about Carolyn Levitt. We really wasn't talking about her. But my thing is, you know, the one thing that MAGA loves and the one thing that racist America loves is for you to tear down black women. Now,
Mhm.
just a year ago, Charlie Kirk was talking about her being a disgusting role model. Ted Cruz was talking about her being a disgusting, role model. But it seems that, especially for black people, and she's a foreigner. Where's she from originally? Trinidad.
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 Hmm.
So I hope she got all her papers in order, but she's okay for now because she's full MAGA. But it's amazing to me when she had this falling out with Cardi. And I think a lot of people jumped on Cardi's side, but a lot of people also came for her because she's married to a pedophile. She supports her
Hmm.
brother who's in jail for raping his 12-year-old stepdaughter. So,
Hmm.
and she aligns herself with these people. And a lot of people are just saying, you know what, you just need to back up and be quiet. But when people are like her are backed up against the wall, instead of coming out and be a better human being, they go full MAGA. They go full MAGA because other disgusting human beings will help prop you. And then if you say something about other black women, they will prop you even higher because there is nothing that and in that same thing, JD Vance came out and was talking about Jasmine Crockett, talking about, oh, her running for senator is about as fake as her fake nails and her weave and everything. All the things that Nikki has. So when
Hmm.
they talk about a black woman, they're talking about you too. When they say these disparaging things against Jasmine Crockett or any other black person in, they're thinking about you. You think, oh, they're not talking about me. That's how they think about all of us, lady. So she's my number two. I hate her.
And this is a departure from the list, but did you see her on there last night put her foot in her mouth when
Yeah,
she said that JD Vance was an
assassin.
assassin, which if
Hmm.
you're talking in the rap culture, saying someone is an assassin is kind of like, oh, they killed it. There, it's a metaphor. It's cute in the rap culture. But you said this to a woman whose husband was shot dead in his neck by an assassin. And when she realized what she said in the moment, she was like, even she couldn't believe she was so stupid. And then Erica Kirk gave her a pass. I was like, girl,
Gave her a pass because she's doing what, and she's paid, so she's getting paid big money. But my number
yeah.
one person, Snoop. I'm
Oh,
done with
yeah, he can
Snoop.
get out. He can get done.
I'm
Nelly, Rick Ross, anybody who
all
performed at the
50,
inauguration
50,
can kick
50,
rocks. 50?
50.
Was he at the
Uh,
inauguration?
no, but he's a big Trump supporter.
Is he? I didn't know that.
Yes, he is. Look it up, ma'am.
He can.
50,
I don't like him
Ray
anyway.
J, all of them. Done. But the
Ray
reason
J.
I say Snoop is because you, the first time around, you went in hard on him. And
Yeah.
so, and I appreciated what I thought were your true thoughts, but you can't roll on him in 2016 and then come back, and he never even gave a reason for why other than the money. He never, he
Yeah.
felt like he doesn't need to explain. And this is why cancel him. Don't hate watch him, and don't entertain him. And I was a big Snoop supporter. I mean, I like Snoop a lot. I
Yeah.
don't he nothing. I have nothing for
He
him.
is sold
He's
out. He is
sold
definitely
out.
sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to end on with the people we most admired or were top tier in our minds for
Do we
2025.
have time for top Rhode Island things we liked?
We push go, go, go.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, I'll go quick. Our food scene in our community events, love them. That's my number three. Number two,
Hmm.
our Roger Williams Botanical Garden, which I think is the jewel of Providence. And
Hmm.
then the Funda Fest and all the storytelling, all the community, how it brought people together, young, old, amazing. Loved it. So those are my top things I loved about Rhode Island this year.
Oh, so I don't have anything in particular because I feel like I'm always the beaches, the events, uh everything that's like kind of centered downtown. Love it because that's my spot. But always, what is it? The end of the year, our big June well, it was in June. This year it was in they moved it
September.
to September. Yeah. So the PVD Fest. So I love that. But I did want to go through my top three of the people who I really got a kick out of this year. And
Okay.
so I'm gonna go with this is top tier. Kamala and myself. I'm gonna put us in there because you got to take a pause to appreciate how far you have gone and how much further you've gone. And the reason I put myself and Kamala there together is because she took a big hit and I thought that she was going to be quiet, but she decided, you know what? Why not? I'm not going to be quiet. I'm still going to be out here, and I respect her so much for that. Second for me would be I. I really admire this year is David Morales, Representative David Morales, who's running for mayor. Really enjoyed speaking to him. I love seeing him all around the city. He really knows Providence, which is amazing to me. Love that. And then, of course, my number one is Zohran Mamdani, the New York City elect mayor. Very happy for him. And I was just impressed how he, through all of this, the money that was thrown against him, the millionaires that came out for him, the hate campaign on him being Muslim and being young, he was still able to remain true to himself. He never wavered on his beliefs. He said what he said on Tuesday and he meant what he meant on Wednesday. That was it. I love that about him. And I hope other politicians, especially Democrats, please take a page from that man's handbook, because that is a powerful message, and staying true to yourself and not wavering and not giving into these corporations who just buy you, and then we don't have a government anymore because you're being paid to be the ops against us. So those are my three.
Okay, so for me, I definitely have to go number three. Actually, so let's see, number three. How do I want to do this? Joy Reid, just for that resilience factor, like you said, facing
Mm-hmm.
adversity, literally getting removed from her job and,
For no
thrown out there
reason.
and still advocating for us, still fighting the good fight and still providing like really great, useful information out here to the public and just alerting us to different things. Number two, I would have to say would be like collectively the women in my family for just like rising above. So again, it's like it's a black woman love fest here. I feel like aging gracefully, getting their affairs in order, not relying on other people, but knowing when to be leaning into each other for support. Like to me, that's a strength that I will continue to model. And then number one is Ayanna Presley. Like this woman, it's probably a tie between her and Jasmine Crockett. They will not be silenced. And I love those two women for not being silenced and calling shit out as they see it and just not being worn down. They probably close the door at night and maybe crumble to the floor and break down in tears. But when they get out there in public, they're kicking ass. And I love those two women for that. So I guess it's a tie between those two for number one.
I love that. Yep, both of them phenomenal women. So that will wrap up our second to last show. Just the
Yay!
things that we enjoyed and liked, and I hope some of you take some of those suggestions, especially in like books and series. And if you hadn't seen them, take a look. Let us know what you think, because I think we threw out some really good ones.
So Shahida, are we going to share our Riverside Wrapped with the people?
You know what? I'm gonna add it on to the end of this. I would.
Please do, because I know for a fact that they're not lying. It may not you at first you're like this is not necessarily flattering, but it is who we are, and
It's
I think that's
funny.
what endears us to our people. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think it is funny.
I will. I might just add it at the very beginning. I'll
That'll
add
be
it at the
cute.
beginning so you don't miss it. So
That'll be
yeah,
cute.
I will add it to this one.
So, this week is Christmas. For those who observe, we wish you a merry, blessed, and healthy Christmas. We have one more episode, as Shahida mentioned, before the end of the year. But until then, you know where to find us. We are on social media on Instagram and Facebook. You can watch us on Spotify and YouTube, and you can listen wherever podcasts are heard, including Apple Podcasts. But
No,
still, in the year of our Lord, 2025, Shahida, where will the people not find us?
you will not find us on the TikTok. We will not get it. If matter of fact, I'm about ready to cancel my Paramount Plus. Fuck TikTok, Paramount Plus, and CBS, all owned by one man.
Let's go.
So until next week, have a great week. Enjoy your holiday, your Christmas. And we'll see you at the very end of it all.
Until
Peace out.
then.